Good evening everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. And as you know, from time to time we like to talk about health on this program, and today we're going to talk about how to avoid certain health issues. My guests tonight are Alison Henry, a health expert from Harley Street, and also Steve Halsall, who is a health and fitness expert as well. And if you want to get involved and if you have any health questions, do give me a call here live on 0207 686 6300, and you can also tweet. I have my iPad right here ready to take your tweets at Chrissy B Show. Now, before we speak to our lovely Patricia over here, who's going to be telling us about the news, aren't you, Pat?
Yes, I will, Chris.
But first of all, just take a look at the highlights, some of the highlights of the show so far this week.
Hello and welcome to Chrissy B's Catch Up.
So if you want to call us, you can live on the show on 0207 686 6300, or you can visit our website, which is chrissybshow.tv, or if you want to send us a tweet, you can, and we'll read it out live on the show at Chrissy B Show.
And we're also on Facebook and YouTube under the Chrissy B Show.
Yes. So what's been happening this week, Barbs?
Well, we had a Chrissy challenge as usual, and Chrissy's challenge was to race one of her friends on a speedboat. So she got trained up on racing, shown the ropes, and then she went really, really fast, which was quite impressive. And of course, she won the Chrissy challenge on this occasion again.
Yeah, so let's take a look at this clip.
So that looks very exciting, and she won by a whole big 1 second, apparently.
Looks really good. So also on Wednesday we had our quarter-life crisis show. So we're talking about the causes of it, how you can detect it, and also what to do if you feel that you're in that situation. So it's a really good show, it's worth watching back. And we also had a performance on the show from Richard and the Mighty Boss Cats, and they were a blues band, really good. I would really recommend to watch that show back, it's really good.
So next week coming up on Monday, we have a show about step-parents and step-children, tackling different issues. When you've got a new member who's introduced to the family, it can be very difficult for either the step-child or the step-parent. So if you are a step-child out there who's got a new step-parent or vice versa, and you're finding it all a little bit confusing and difficult and you want some help, then that is definitely the show for you, 9:30 Monday night.
Yes, and then on Wednesday, we're going to be repeating our best colours show, which is we'll be discussing what colours are best for you and also how colours can affect your mood even as well. It's really interesting. So let's take a look at this clip.
I wouldn't advise a woman to wear red for a job interview, for instance, because it can be too overtly sexual. You would wear red if you were going for a date, and if you wanted to be noticed. So generally, extrovert people tend to like wearing red.
And then on Friday, we're going to be talking about charities and the importance of being charitable. So we're going to look back and visit some old charities that we've been to from the start of Chrissy B. And also I went to a music gig with a band called Missing Andy, where they were trying to raise money for a young girl called India. So we're going to take a look at that gig as well. So make sure you tune into that show next Friday.
The clip.
That you're going to put in.
That you're going to put in the edit. And remember, you can always tweet us at The Chrissy B Show. You can visit our website, which is chrissybshow.tv, or you can visit our YouTube as well, which is The Chrissy B Show, or even you can visit...
The tweet, you can tweet us. The tweet, you can tweet us. The Chrissy B Show, and Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, we're all on there.
I don't know, girls, always messing around, aren't you? Thank you so much for the highlights, B&B. That's Barbara and Bianca. And now, Patricia, we have some news, I believe, don't we?
Yes, we do. You know, Chris, it's the holiday season. It's coming to an end now.
Yeah.
And on the news, there was a funny story about a group of ladies that booked a holiday to Portugal and end up in Spain.
Oh,
this is very funny. They went into a Thomas Cook store in Trafford Centre in Manchester. They paid over £1,000 for a holiday at the Algarve. But when they got to Faro, Portugal's airport, they were put on a bus and drove in like 100 miles over the border to Spain. And they tried to go to the reception and say, "Excuse me, where is this?" Yeah, and they were saying to them, "Oh, you were in Spain, is that a problem?" "No, I booked the holiday at the Algarve." And they've been going on and on. They had to eventually spend the week in Spain, which they were not very happy about.
Which is a lovely place anyway, isn't it? But yes, I suppose if you booked to go to Portugal.
They weren't very happy.
Oh.
And especially if you paid over £1,000 for a holiday and you expect to go to a place and they turn up in a different place. And also the funny thing is they were offered £200 compensation.
Oh dear. That's awful. They should get all of their money back.
They should get another trip
Yeah, definitely.
for free. Be spoiled for a week at the Algarve. I've been there, recommend it, it's lovely. Yes.
You were born in where?
Yeah, I was born in Portugal.
Oh, okay.
And since my childhood, we used to go to the Algarve for holiday every year.
Yeah, I've heard it's beautiful there.
It's beautiful. I've been there like a couple of years ago on holidays.
Oh,
Still
nice.
the same. It's
Oh.
lovely.
Well, I hope the ladies get a chance to go back and not end up in Spain again.
Because one of the ladies works for a cruise company. So she's traveled a lot and she's been
Yeah.
to different countries. And Portugal was one of the countries she hadn't been before.
Oh.
So she was really looking forward to it.
That's an excuse for another holiday, never mind.
Yes.
Hopefully,
Hopefully,
£200 spending money.
Hopefully a free holiday.
yeah, keep fighting for that.
How about this one, Chris? The woman who claims she's too pretty to take a job.
Oh, too pretty to take a job?
Yes. She's a graduate in science, I think, and she's worked in labs before, and she was complaining she gets a lot of male attraction, and females are jealous, so she never gets along with anyone. So she just decided that work isn't for her, and because she's too pretty to work.
Do we have a photo of her? I really hope we've got a photo of her.
There she is.
Well, she is gorgeous, I have to say, but still.
Still, she's living in a Notting Hill apartment, being paid by her parents £2,000 a month for her expenses, plus she spends £700 on haircuts, £80 a week to work out in a gym, £1,000 a month on socialising.
So what we're actually talking about here is someone that doesn't actually want to work and is just using the looks as an excuse.
Yeah, but she claims she's even been on TV. She was on I think on This Morning talking about how she's too pretty to work and working is just not for her because she gets all the wrong attention, both from females and.
The thing is she the only pretty person that goes out to find the job? There's loads of gorgeous people out there.
And she
aren't
is
there? And
gorgeous.
it's like, yeah,
she's
but it's
beautiful.
silly.
But you're never too beautiful to
course
work.
not.
How about models? Models, it's their job to promote beauty, to promote
And
their
to be honest,
slim
if you're in a
figure.
workplace and you're getting too much attention from other people, you just put them in their place and finished. If you don't sit there flirting around with everyone and stuff like that, that's gonna end. If you just need to put people in their place and say, listen, none of that, please. And that's it.
Don't let that
you just
affect.
carry on working if you really want to work. But I think some people
Yeah,
just
don't
wanna
let that
work.
affect your career because your parents, they're going to be supporting you for only God knows for how long. What are you
Yeah.
going to do afterwards?
Yeah. Oh well, just an excuse, I think. I'm sorry.
But
Unless you want to come on the show and talk about it, and then we can see.
But on the internet, they had over 15,000 people were sharing this. There was thousands and thousands of comments about this. It's interesting to see people's opinions with regards to this. I've got mine. How about?
What's yours?
Yeah.
You're not going to tell us?
No.
Okay.
And Chris,
Yes.
you know when you go to the zoo, you always have these programs about meet and greet the animals. You can go and feed them, or there's even this beautiful that I'm so looking forward to do it one day. You can go and swim with the dolphins. You can feed the baby lions, or they have this special program to pay an extra fee for that. So this lady, she paid, I think, £38 to go and feed the rhino.
Rhino.
Yes.
Is she crazy? Okay.
Yes, but
Oh,
apparently
it
it was
it does
part
have a
of.
horn. Sorry, I couldn't see properly. Yeah, sorry, it does have a horn.
He's painting a picture.
Oh.
He's part of the program at the zoo,
Which zoo? Is it this? Not this country, is it?
Denver Zoo.
Okay.
Yeah. And
yeah.
you know what happened to her? She got bitten.
Oh.
The rhino bit her finger,
Oh.
and she had to be taken to the hospital. It's true.
See,
so
you can't do things like that with a rhino and expect it to come out okay, because they're just quite aggressive, aren't they? Really? I mean, they're not cute sometimes, but they're.
But I'm sure if they had this program available, they must have worked with the rhino, seen that it's peaceful, it doesn't attack anyone before you take someone in.
Yeah, but still,
Never
it's
know.
like that news article a few months back with that keeper. I think she was some lion she was looking after, and the lion attacked her and killed her. But she'd been working with this lion for like ages, for years. The lion knew her very well. They knew each other. She used to feed him all the time, one day just decided to attack her and kill her. You can't trust an animal. I'm sorry, they're lovely and cute and everything, but you should never trust. They can just switch at any time.
It's especially if they are old, because if they are babies, like I've been to a lion park in Africa, where I could actually bottle feed the baby lions, and you could carry them on your lap. They'll fall asleep on your arms. It's lovely, lovely. But they were babies. If they were a bit older, I probably wouldn't risk.
Yeah, I was supposed to be actually walking the lions for a challenge, and I changed my mind. I thought I'm not going to risk it. And this was like shortly after this incident that happened in the zoo over here. I thought I'm not going to risk it. I love animals. I love lions and cats, but I'll just stick to playing with my cat at home.
And even cats, sometimes they just decide to attack and scratch. And dogs, how many times have we heard about dogs that have attacked their owners?
It's true.
And beaten them. And
you still have to be careful. You have to keep your wits about you, don't you? Patricia, we've run out of time, my darling.
Did we?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much.
It was nice being
here. And we'll see you again next time.
Yes.
When you read the news for us. Okay, and then after the break, we're going to be speaking to Alison Henry, who's a Harley Street health expert. And she's going to be giving us lots of lovely advice about how we can stay healthy and avoid certain health issues. So do join us after this. Welcome back to the show, and now I'm joined by Alison Henry, who's a Harley Street health expert. Hello.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me on your show.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here. So you're going to be helping our viewers tonight, and myself also, on how to avoid certain health issues. Now, you've got a lovely basket next to you with some fresh produce there, so you're going to be telling us about what each one is good for and everything.
Yes.
But what would you say maybe are the main sort of health concerns that people have when they come to you?
High blood pressure. And weight issues.
High blood pressure and weight issues.
Yes, people are very, very concerned about their weight. I think because it's the image, isn't it? You can see, like, if people got weight issues, you can see straight away. Whereas high blood pressure is not evident unless one is tested. So,
Let's talk about the high blood pressure first, though, because that's obviously like one of the silent killers, as they say. So tell us about how a person can avoid. First of all, what is it? What does it do to the body? And what can someone do to avoid it?
Right. High blood pressure is a cardiovascular problem. So it means that the person will have problems with blood flow. The blood needs to flow around the body. It needs to flow around the body in a free manner, but not as if, like, for example, a car traveling on the road. If there's obstacles, the car cannot travel. So the blood needs a clear pathway to flow around the body, the entire body system. That tends to get obstructed, that path. If there's obstruction, blood cannot flow. So organ tissue will get irritated because they're waiting for nutrients, because the blood carry nutrients, i.e. vitamins, minerals, water, antibodies, all these sorts of good things, oxygen and so on. So one could experience heart problems, one could experience things like stroke. There are different stages of high blood pressure. So when you're tested, you'll see which stage you're at. Usually 120 to 80 is like about the sort of safe range, if you like. But if you're over that, you need to get checked out.
Okay, how often
it's best to get checked to see what your blood pressure reading is, and your doctor will explain the different stages to you.
How often should you get your blood pressure tested, do you think?
I would say depending on lifestyle. I think it's so important to get it checked, because people might say, look, I'm skinny, because it's associated with people who are overweight. And I've seen people who are very small, slender, small stature, and they have high blood pressure. And I've also seen people who are carrying excess weight and they haven't got high blood pressure.
That's weird, isn't it?
So it depends on the body as well. If you've got a very good system, it can take care of waste matter very quickly. The neutrophils or white blood cells, they're the garbage collector of the system, and that might help to take care of some waste matter that lingers in the blood and get caught up in places like the artery walls.
All right, so how can we avoid high blood pressure?
How can we avoid high blood pressure? Eat well. Eat well and lots of exercise as well, but not too. There's lots of talk about a different type of exercise should be done. But just exercise, gentle exercise. Don't be too aggressive. Don't be too hard on yourself. Feel that you've got to over-exercise because I've got high blood pressure, so I've got to work extra hard. But what's absolutely important to incorporate with good exercise is a very good diet. Just eating natural, wholesome food.
I can see you're passionate about it. Because she's getting excited about talking about the fruit.
Oh yes, because it's so important, because we haven't got good diets, and it's not fair. I mean, we have to take responsibility for our behaviour. That's so key. We've got to decide, okay, I wake up today, what am I going to have? Or I'm going to blame someone because I choose the wrong thing. There are many things that's available to us, Chrissy B. There are many things. We can choose whatever we want.
But we do see people blaming it on, oh, it's the fast food chains everywhere and there's unhealthy food everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's healthy stuff out there too.
There is healthy stuff out there, but to be fair, healthy stuff is not affordable. So of course one will always have the incentive to go for something cheap, affordable, you know, it's quick, it's easy, and it's there, it's readily available, and it's affordable. I think affordability is the key thing. I mean, I pop around to many stores and I was looking at prices. I'm always price watching, and I said, good grief, how can anyone afford these things? They're healthy. How can they stay healthy if or even think about staying healthy? But labeling is good as well. Help us to see what's in our foods, so we can make better choices. I guess we can. We really can. We should. I mean, we have to take responsibility as well and get help. We're out here. I can help you.
Okay, so Alison, you're going to help us now to make better choices. So you've got. Can you tell us what's in your lovely basket there and what each thing is good for?
Can I show you some of
my
pictures?
Show the start first. Okay, I've got pictures here to show us.
I got some pictures here to show you. Is it all right to show you my pictures first?
Of course it is, darling. Go ahead.
My pictures are just so informative. This one here, I quite like it.
Should we take the vase out of the way? Hang on, let me just move this from here. Just
Thank you.
Yeah, put that down here.
I quite like this picture. The reason why I like this picture, because this picture shows, it's showing the blood, and the blood is very, very powerful. We were just talking about the blood just now. It's uniformed in its shape. It conveys, like I said, antioxidants, water, nutrients, and all these wonderful things to waiting organs. And they must be able to flow, as we just discussed freely, because when they're obstructed, they can't get to do their wonderful job of delivery, and of course, they bring away waste matter from cells. So eating right for the blood is very important. So that's one of my lovely pictures there. Another one I have here is a picture of high blood pressure. Okay. The pathway being obstructed there, and blood flow is obstructed, and blood can't get from A to B, as we can see there. The result of blood is flowing happily there.
These two here, right?
The very first one, blood is flowing happily there, not obstructed at all. And then if it's becoming obstructed there, you can see the pathway becoming narrower with waste matter in the cavity of the vessels, and that would be, the arteries rather. That's where it all happens. And of course, the blockage is complete there now, so the blood cannot get through. So high blood pressure should be taken extremely seriously. We talked just now about the importance of getting checked out to see where you're at, see which stage you're at, and that's so important as well. Here, poor blood. Yes, varicose veins. Ever seen anyone with varicose veins?
But not that bad.
I know. When we got blood flow problems.
Can we get closer?
That is a lot of some people have got varicose veins.
At home can see that. That's really.
Oh right, there better. You are. Excellent. That is so important to see. Blood flow problems. The vessels walls break down and they lose their elasticity.
I mean, seeing it like that, you sort of sometimes don't associate that with not eating correctly.
Not eating correctly.
You think,
poor
it's
diet.
Just something maybe that comes with age or something. But it's not. Look at that.
Yes, yes. You know, it's also associated with age because poor diet again. Poor maintenance over the years. You know, the vessel walls break down because everything is made up of cells.
But young people can get that too, can't they?
Oh yeah, some people inherit it as well, I must say. So yeah, excellent. Great. So so that's one of the things that the heart, they're fatty, taking in the wrong type of diets as well. Stress. There you go, big fatty heart there. That heart will work so hard to pump blood, poor thing. And so yes, excellent. So that's one of my pictures there. Good, healthy. Eating well can help us deal with a lot of these issues. And if we're born with things like, you know, for example, some people got varicose veins problem, they've inherited this kind of problem. I mean, they can maintain it through healthy diet as well. So healthy eating is so important.
Oh dear.
Obesity. With a little bit extra fat around the belly there. We tend to have a little bit extra fat around the belly sometimes. The visceral fat thing we need to be taken care of. Again, healthy diet can help us, Chrissy B. You know, eating healthy, eat fruits and veg, nuts and seeds, drinking water, getting your exercise in is so imperative, you know, and because this contributes to high blood pressure as well, and of course obesity too. So
okay.
It's so important. Do you like my pictures?
I do love your pictures.
Oh yes, I like them because when people see them, they kind of remind them of God, carry this.
Seeing pictures like this, obviously that's just a drawing, but the previous ones, to see the actual effects of it, because no one sort of thinks ahead that far, do they? We just like think, oh, I just really want that cake, or I really want that thing to eat, and you don't sort of think about the future. You know it's bad for you.
Yes.
But until you see pictures and things of what could happen to you, then it kind of makes you think, doesn't it?
Yes, it certainly does. It certainly does. I mean, it's a mindset thing. I mean, food. I mean, honestly, I mean, would you swap a burger, a juicy burger, for a bowl of salad?
Actually, I do.
Be honest,
I love my salads. I have to say,
Yeah,
I really
lovely.
love my
Excellent.
salads and
Yes.
cheese and stuff and that. So I do eat
Yes,
those things.
because
but
it
I do
tastes-
like the odd burger too.
Yeah, but the taste buds get so educated. It's so educated to the burger taste.
Yeah.
You know, the pizza taste. I remember back in the day, I used to get you like 2 massive pizzas, and it was nice. I would get you 2. I used to be an engineer, you see. I used to work night shift, and I used to sort of finish shift and just have a pizza, and then I'll have a leftovers, have the rest of it, and it was nice because apparently there's something called a monosodium glutamate. And
That makes you want more.
It makes you want more,
Yeah,
and I think that's a bit naughty to
They
sneak
put that
that
in
in
crisps,
there.
don't they?
There are many things, also things like biscuits, and I love biscuits, but I didn't understand why I keep wanting more.
For those that don't know what it is, is an additive? Is it?
It's an additive. It's
that
like a
makes you
salty
crave
kind of,
more of that thing.
yeah, yeah. If you're craving food, you might
How
think,
they're allowed to put these things in food.
Oh,
it's
again-
it's really like unethical, I think.
well, you know, everybody got their take on that. But again, if you picked up a packet of biscuit and instead it's got that in there, then you would have probably second
Let's
thoughts.
boycott it, everybody.
But
that's what I say.
But you know what it is? I think the taste buds, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, just this once, and again we get caught up. But I think
Yeah.
everything in moderation, and we're just knowing that if these things are in there, are they good for us? Are they not? Should we have them often? Should we be, should we
Yeah.
have our fruits and veg to help to counteract them, or should we avoid them altogether?
There's just a question before we go to the break, Alison.
So, yeah.
I was saying, like, is it okay to have certain like junk food if you do like counteract it with fruit and veg, or doesn't it quite work that way? What do you think?
I don't want to educate that. Absolutely not. But of course you can, but it's not the right way to go because you're trying to change behavior.
The way you, yeah.
And of course we want to stay healthy, and there are adverse effects because, we need to make sure that the change is adapted and it's for life, really.
Yeah.
And it will keep you healthy, keep all your organs healthy, and you want to shy away from these foods, but we are human at the end of the day, and we are going to overindulge. Perhaps we go out for meals often, like I do, and so on. And people
But we
say,
can still make healthy choices even if
Well,
we do
we
go.
can.
I did that recently and I was actually quite good.
Yes.
Alison, we don't have time to talk about the vegetables in this part because we have to go to a break, but I'd love to
Okay.
talk about them after the break
Great.
if that's okay. And also we're going to be joined by our health and fitness expert, Steve Halsall. So this. Welcome back to the programme. We still have the lovely Alison with us, and we've also been joined by Steve, who's a health and fitness expert.
Good
Hello,
evening, Chrissy.
Steve.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You've been up, we've had a long day today, but you've still graced us with your presence here to talk
Exactly.
all about fitness as
Impart
well.
my wisdom on you, hopefully.
Sorry?
Give some wisdom to you
Yeah,
and
definitely,
tell
yeah.
the viewers how to get fit and well.
I'm looking forward to that. But let's first of all talk about the basket here that we've got, Alison, because we didn't have time before the break. And Steve, feel free to chip in as well.
Yeah,
so
they're
tell
quite
us,
nice.
Alison, about some of these things quickly and what they're good for.
Okay, I've got in my lovely basket here some tomatoes, some tomatoes.
Cherry, my favourite.
Cherry tomatoes, which is quite good. They're good for kidney, they're good for the blood, they're good for the bowel as well. And they're very hydrating, so you can see them there. So they're very juicy.
Just in case you didn't know what a tomato looked like.
So just what a tomato looks like.
So we're going to show you.
We sort of just pass them all the time in the shops and like just ignore them, but please just pick them up. They're just so hydrating. If you're thirsty, grab a tomato, suck all the juice out.
I never thought of that.
It's lovely.
Really? It's hydrating?
Yeah, it's very juicy.
Yeah.
So, especially the big ones. I just like, ooh, let's suck all the juice out. It feels so nice. And then we got apple here. It's one of my favourites. I love apples. Not everybody get on very well with apple because it causes bloating and all sorts of things. But
Really?
apple, yeah, you see people got all kind of the reactions you can have with apples. But apples are very good. Again, I'm not a filler. If you want to lose weight as well, not little things you can add to your
What's
fruit
it good
basket.
for though? I mean, obviously we know that all vegetables and fruits are good for you, but specifically what are they?
Apples, if I'm using apples personally, I would use apples to lose weight. And the reason for that is because I feel fuller for longer, so give me that nice bulk feeling. It hydrates me again. It's good for the blood as well.
Pears are supposed to be quite filling, aren't they, as well?
Pears are quite filling. If you have a pear, you feel so filled up.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat anything else.
Pears
so if
are
you,
good.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Have you got a particular type that you like?
No, but I'll tell you what I'd do with any fruit that I'd have. I'd always have a few almonds or a few seeds.
Yes,
because what that would do is lessen the
buffer the
glycemic
sugar.
load.
Yes,
Because
yes.
fruit is ultimately sugar.
Yes.
But if you have protein and fat with it, then it just lessens the load, and the blood sugars tend to undulate rather than spike. So that's a good tip to have.
Oh, okay.
This goes on very well with almond nuts.
Yeah.
I love it
Exactly,
together.
exactly.
Oh, it's awesome. It's lovely. Absolutely. Then we got banana as well. Very good for the GI tract. It acts like a cream on the GI tract, soothing it like a cream in your face. It's very nice to have that. Not a good filler. Again, with some, it's just probably some nuts as well with that would quite.
I don't want to do that. I have a
slow
fruit
down.
platter. Well, I have fruit throughout the day, but I'm going to have one in the evening as well. And I have some sort of dried fruits, some nuts, unsalted, mind.
Yes.
Some nuts, some seeds and stuff as well. Sometimes some natural yogurt. So I love all that stuff.
Yes. Another one of my favourite is this guy here.
Love it. Love aubergine.
Do you?
I love
it's
it.
one of my favourite. How do you eat yours?
I normally slice it, put it in the oven with some olive oil.
Aubergines? You've never seen an aubergine
bit of
before?
salt, garlic.
Aubergines, a lot of people don't know what it is. Think, what's that? What the hell is that?
How do you cook
It's
yours?
absolutely lovely. I have mine raw.
Oh, raw, yeah, in salads.
So I just
maybe.
peel mine, just like chop it up and just like have it,
Yeah.
just eat it.
How about you, Steve?
Can't stand them.
Really?
It's the only thing I
You're
won't
not
eat.
meant to say that.
No,
you're
well, I
not.
tell you, I'll be honest. Like, it's the only thing I won't eat.
Have you
can't
tried
try
them
it.
in the oven with olive oil
Yeah,
and stuff?
just no.
It's quite
It's the
bland.
texture.
Oh,
It's that kind of no.
Oh, is
Can't
that
do
a bit
it.
like mushroom? Mushrooms tend to have quite
Do you like
bland.
mushrooms?
No, again. No.
All right.
Not my favourite. I
Not your
think we all
favourite,
like
okay.
different things. So.
Yeah, it's true. So
Mushroom.
how would you, what are they good for then, Alison?
But bowel, the fibre there again.
Oh, for the aubergine you're talking about.
Yeah, the aubergine is very good bowel food. I use this for bowel because again the fibre as well, binding with cholesterol as well, helping with cholesterol and high blood pressure. So these are one of the things that I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the mushrooms, what are they good
And the mushrooms as well, I have them with I'm combining mushrooms with that. They're two very bland things to have together. But of course, when you have things like cayenne pepper, you have garlic and onions with it, it really does give it a nice taste because it's quite...
And what about nutritional value for mushrooms then?
Nutritional value for mushrooms, I go with mushrooms really for because it's hydrating again, not a hydrating food. It's a filler, it's a light filler, low calorie calories. So that's not where I get my nutrition. If I'm going my nutrition, I'm going for things like these guys here. I'm going for my dark green foods every time. I'm going for watch out for the oxalate in these guys here because they got something called a nutrient in it called oxalate that binds with calcium and prevents its absorption. So know about that. So don't overdo it. Because I overdo these and I see the ill effect of them. Also, if they're not organically grown, you find that because they use a lot of nitrogen to speed up the growth, you end up get thousands and thousands of mushrooms, and you find you get too much nitrogen in your blood. So that's another story. Yeah, but to go gently with them, don't overdo it. And then of course, cauliflower. Wonderful. Do you like cauliflower cheese?
I like everything that you got.
Cheese. Oh, cauliflower cheese. Of course,
it's nice to spread cheese all over it.
I know, but no, of course, but I used to do that before. But now I just like steam it, have it raw. I love it. I love it. Do you steam these?
Yeah, I steam.
Is it not? You do the steam all the time?
Not all the time, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just put a bit of water and boil it.
Yeah.
But normally it's steamed or
Not
boiled.
too much water. You sort of keep the water less than the veg.
Yeah.
So keep some of the good nutrients in. Because the B vitamins in there gives you energy, all this stuff. And they tend to get that.
I make mash out of cauliflower. There you
I
go.
do as well. It's very nice.
Sweet potato, celiac, cauliflower, steam it, mash it.
Yeah, that is lovely. Yeah.
Saves
butter
eating
in
olive oil.
It's a bit, that's a good idea.
That tastes very nice.
Black pepper, olive oil. It just saves eating potatoes and starchy food.
Yeah.
I never thought of doing that. Thank you
Really
for that.
tasty.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Cauliflower mash. Cauliflower, sweet potato.
Celiac, which is like a root veg, like a turnip. But it's white in colour, so it all gives the impression that you're almost eating potatoes, but you're not.
Oh.
Yeah, really nice.
See? Good trick there.
Yeah.
Viewers, did you hear that at home? Okay. All right, so Steve, tell us now about some exercise routines that we can do and how people can really keep the weight off once they...
I think Alison made some good points about bringing nutrition into your life, and I think that from my experience with working with clients for 17 years, I think that the key is to do whatever you embark on, you've got to stick with. So whatever you choose to do, if it's a specific diet plan or a specific fad diet or anything that you think is going to inspire you or be a catalyst to better health, then you're going to get a result by sticking with it. And that goes with exercise too. So you've got to have a commitment, and I think unless you have a commitment, then nothing's going to happen. I think it's the horse to water scenario. You know, you can wish yourself fit, you can wish yourself healthy, but unless you're going to do something about it, nothing's going to happen. And the trick, in my opinion, is to create time for yourself. Don't worry too much about what the content is. If people get too preoccupied, should I run? Should I do a Zumba class? Should I do Pilates? I think generally most people struggle with finding time.
Yeah.
So what you've got to do is find the time and commit time to yourself. So the government suggests, was it moderate exercise, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, or 75 minutes a week vigorous exercise. Now they're not far short, but how we do that as busy working people with families and lives and all the rest of it is another thing. But it still boils down to the fact that we've got to find time. And everybody you see who's in good shape is finding time. People who are in good shape, you look around and think, oh, she looks great, he looks great. It's not a miracle. It's not they don't get out of a packet. They've found time. They've said to themselves, right, every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go for a walk or a run. And over time,
whereas other people prefer to have a little lay-in. So that's all.
and then and they wish they were fit. And I think that as long as you're inside a process, a positive process, then you'll always get a result. Always. And it's what the trick is to find what that process is for you. So whether if you're obese, then it's a different process to someone who wants to go for a run every day, because if you're obese, you can't go for a run. But you can still go for a walk, you can still make time to find an hour to go for a walk, and in time, over 6 months, 8 months or whatever, that walk becomes a walk jog, and then the jog becomes a run, and the run becomes what you want it to be. So you've got to, as long as you're progressive as well. I think far too many people do the same thing all the time, and they wonder why they're not getting a result. So we're very lazy, really. Inherently, we're very lazy. And unless we have progression, unless we shock ourselves into doing something different or do something that's going to challenge us, then ultimately we won't really change our body shape, I don't think.
Right. Okay. Now you were telling us something very interesting in the green room about sort of introducing things gradually, because like we were talking about how sometimes we want things so quickly, and they're not just to do with weight or health issues. We just want things in general fast, don't we? We just sort of all the advertising nowadays making you think, oh, you need to get whatever you want that's good has to be gotten now. So we're quite impatient as human beings, aren't we?
That's right.
But that's not the way to go, is it?
No, not necessarily. I think it's the culture we live in. I think it's a quick fix, and there's a short-term gain, and 99.9% of people do a short-term gain, put it back on again, or end up back at the start. Of all the people I've ever trained, there's hundreds of them, not one person has changed everything overnight. Not one person. And these people are probably who are rich, they've got time, they've got everything at their disposal to make it happen, and they've not done it. And the trick is to do things in baby steps. So, for example, if you want to start eating healthily, I suggest to my clients that you should start with breakfast. You start with the first thing in the morning. You start with the first thing that happens in the day. So they've got to get breakfast right. And however long it takes them to get breakfast right, I will allow them. So generally it's about 3 or 4 weeks.
What's breakfast right then?
Well, what do you think? But I think we'll have different opinions. But I think that if you hydrate yourself first, I think generally most people go for a cup of tea or coffee first. That's the general fix of the nation. I think that's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with a cup of coffee, but I think that let's come back a step and maybe have a glass of water when we rise. Maybe a squirt of lemon in there.
If you think about it, the whole night you've gone without any water, you're dehydrated. So I
think you lose about a pint of water at night when you're just through metabolic process of sleeping. So I think that if you hydrate first and put a squeeze of lemon in there, then what you do is you create an alkaline balance for your body, and you cleanse the system, and then therefore you've had a good start. Now, but that very gesture of having a glass with hot and cold water and a squeeze of lemon may take you a few days to get your head around, because you've got to go and buy the lemon, you've got to have a big glass, you've got to get up early enough, you've got to pour the... So it's a whole routine, and I think that we're all creatures of routine and habit. So all I would suggest is that take something out that you think is negative, put something positive in, and let it sit and stick. And once it becomes a way of life, go on to the next part of the day. So we'll do breakfast, so you hydrate, then most people are out of bed, running to work, no time. Well, what's wrong with the night before preparing in a piece of Tupperware the perfect breakfast? Take it with you, no excuses. People have always got an excuse. I haven't got no time, there's nothing to eat at work, I've got to have toast. No, rubbish, I don't believe it. Make time to shop for the right food, prepare it the night before, grab it out of the fridge as you're running, putting your coat on.
After you've had your glass of water with a squeeze of lemon.
But I think that, again, I'm getting back to the point of we've got to create a habit. I think without good habits, then nothing will be achieved. You've got to underpin a process. You wouldn't build a house with no foundation.
That's right. So, but Steve, you're going to give us a few more tips after the break, because I want to hear more about this because the water thing I didn't really think of. Well, I do generally drink some water when I wake up, but it just kind of makes sense you know, the way you're explaining it, and I'd like to hear some more tips like that. So do stay with us, don't
I
go
look forward to
anywhere.
that.
And after the break, we're going to be speaking more to both our experts here, so do join us. Welcome back to our health show. We've been speaking to Steve before the break, and you were telling us about how we should introduce things gradually until it becomes a habit. And let's talk a bit about the exercise now as well, how we can start to introduce that into our daily life.
I think you've got to make a commitment again. I keep going about the word commitment, but you've got to say to yourself, right, is it going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 o'clock in the morning before I go to work? If that's the case, then that's what you do. Now, the trick also is to get the right kit. You know, you've got to be prepared for this. So again, if you're going to exercise before work, the night before, get the right kit back together, make sure your trainers are in, make sure your kit's washed, make sure you know what you're going to do the next day. Plan a little bit. There's nothing wrong with planning. So if you're a beginner, then maybe you want to go for a walk around the block before you go to work, or maybe you've got a gym at work, or maybe there's a park near work, but you've got to create a situation where you're going to take yourself out of your working environment and be productive.
But it's so easy to just stay and work through lunch, isn't it? Just have a quick sort of lunch at your desk, and it's just sometimes hard to tear yourself away.
The difference between people who are going to get fit and stay fit and live a long and healthy life are those people who are going to put the computer down and go for a jog at lunchtime. And I think you've got to make that leap. You've got to realise that it's not where you are in 6 weeks, it's where you are in 6 years. And are you going to be an adult that's going to be fit, well and lean and toned and running around after your grandchildren, or are you going to be someone who's going to be propping at the NHS? So I think that, you know, that's the choices you have to make. So if you're going to be exercising, it's got to be progressive. It means you've got to add a little bit every so often, so you're making your body feel like it's doing something a little bit more, because we are lazy and we will do the least possible when we have to. So if you like running, then run a bit further, or if you're going to do a class, then maybe do a class at slightly higher level. But what I would say is that it's not just about running or training with weights. I think that there's a lot of importance on recovery. So if you don't fancy doing a run one day, then maybe go and do a yoga class, or maybe you want to go and do a Pilates, something that's a bit softer.
Yeah, because you do get those days when you just feel so tired.
You all get those.
And you just can't even think about doing anything strenuous. So at least you should do something.
And it all boils back to doing something for yourself every day. I think if you could do one thing for yourself every day, that takes 40 minutes, then the other 23 hours or so, everyone else can have you.
Yeah.
But I think making time for yourself is really important. I think it's the key.
But I think people have to see exercise as time for themselves, because maybe they'll think it's just, because a lot of people will see exercise as it's just a chore, it's one more thing that I have to do, and they don't see it as something that's their me time, for example, or something to look forward to. And I think sometimes it's the way we see exercise that is completely wrong.
That's a fair point. But I think that I don't know anybody who feels worse after they exercise.
Definitely not.
I think
always, it's true, you always feel
100% of people feel 100% better after they've exercised.
Yeah.
So there's a
or
lot.
guilty if they don't.
Yeah, there is that. But
Can I just say, go on, after you. No, because I'm actually lazy, I just hate exercise. I really do. Honestly, you might not think it, but I really hate exercise. So I try to find the easy, even if I go to the gym, I try to find the easiest thing to do. And housework is another way to get your exercise in.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? The hoovering, picking up that big Henry Hoover or whatever it is.
Steve, you're showing me here.
I'm having none of it.
What do you think?
No,
what do
I
you
think if that was the case, every man or woman who does housework would be lean, thin and toned.
Yes.
That's not the case.
It's a start. It's a start. I would do housework only if I've got to. I see housework as exercise.
Well,
and for me,
you must have a very, very clean house very quickly.
Not really. Opposite, actually. Oh, I said, I'm a busy lady. No, the opposite. But I see housework going up the stairs, down the stairs, bending to pick things up, clearing the cupboards. I really see that as that. You got to find, and to exercise, you might agree, you have to find the energy. First of all, you have to feel energized. You have to want to do it. You have to feel energy, isn't it? Am I correct?
But by definition, the more you exercise, the more energy you're going to get.
Well, people don't see that first. They're seeing, I've got to do it, or I can't be bothered, I can't be asked. You know, it's that kind of thing. They've got to feel motivated. I'm going to do this.
I always feel sometimes when I feel sort of lazy and tired, and I do push myself to exercise, I do feel a lot better afterwards.
You do, yeah.
And I feel, I don't know, it just kind of makes you feel more energetic.
You feel more
just
energized,
by doing that bit of exercise. It really is
And it's
helpful.
time for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, let's not step away from that too much. It's time for yourself. You're allowed to spend time on yourself. Yeah. And it's little bits, little layers, little gestures towards yourself that that over time will reap benefit. And if you're good to yourself, then everyone else around you, in your family, your work colleagues, they're going to benefit from you feeling happier about yourself, feeling, you know, you can get into a new dress, you think, oh yeah, I lost a bit of weight. How good does that feel?
Yeah, it does.
But you've got to make the effort, you know. Yeah. There's no magic cure. There's no quick fix.
Would you recommend sort of doing exercise with other people?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
that has to be the right person, because I have to say, I went to the gym the other day with a friend, and all she wanted to do was chat, and she was on the rowing machine. She was going really slowly, and she's chatting away. And I said, I won't say her name, but I said, you need to, you know, do something, because you're not doing anything like that. You need to, she's got a target to lose some weight. Just there chatting away while she's on this rowing machine doing nothing.
I think that's quite an important point. I think that if you think about what you're trying to do say for example, someone is a size 18, they want to become a size 12. Let's say that's the case. What they're trying to do is combust this body into a smaller body. So the intensity required to lose ultimately a fifth of their body is quite significant. You're not going to get that from rowing, having a chat with your mate. So I think if you're going to choose to exercise in that time, get on with it. Push as hard as you can, because we're all different. Some people come from a low base, some from a higher base, but you're always going to get a result. You're always going to feel better. Always. Anyone can get fit. It's not a magic solution, you know. It's not for those privileged few who look great. They only look great because they made the effort.
Because they made the effort.
Yeah.
Alison, are we persuading you to do some exercise? other than the hoovering and running down the stairs?
Yeah, I do. I can repeat, I'm actually lazy exercising, and I need to have to be motivated to do it. I do love exercising. Of course, you feel so energized, you're quite right. And you feel so empowered, you feel so good about yourself, and you just don't want to stop. In fact, it becomes a habit, and you've got to do it like at least every week, twice a week, whatever the case. Even walking to start off. But I'm just talking about the novice, if you like. You know, the people who don't like exercising, never done it, wouldn't do it, can't be bothered. You know, housework is one of the things. You find that people who don't exercise. She's
going to go back to the housework.
Honestly, I really do.
She doesn't want to let it go here.
No, the reason why, because I've been there. I hate housework. We always had maids where I grew up, and just housework is just not my thing. But I'd say it's if people exercise, they've got more energy around. It's all to do with energy, folks. People who exercise, they've got more energy. People come out the gym and they go and spring clean their home. They've been building new houses. They feel so empowered and they want to fly. You feel so good. I remember coming out the gym and I'm just bouncing and feeling like, God, I feel so good about myself.
So why don't you go back there then? Why have you gone back to the housework?
The thing is, when you exercise, you feel full of energy. When you feel full of energy, anything you can, sky's the limit. It's just wonderful to do exercise. I mean, you can't advocate that enough.
It is, but we've got life to live as well, and it's not always the case. Sometimes we've got, we'll work, some of us, myself, I work from 5 in the morning till 10 at night. No time to exercise. But when you've got the time, you make the time.
Yes.
You bank it.
What about the stretching? Yeah. Another easy one. Just the people who are the beginners, I
think, again, you have to be holistic in your approach to yourself. So I would always advocate, if you're going to, I train some incredibly fit people, but I still make sure that they go and do a yoga class. I've got a guy doing an ultra marathon. He's going to run 58 kilometers in one go. But part of his weekly training is 2 yoga classes, a Pilates class and a meditation class. Because I think that balance is required. You can't be thrashing all the time, because something's going to give. You're going to get injured, you're going to feel awful, you're going to, your nutrition's not going to be up to scratch, you're going to feel dehydrated, you're going to feel tired, and they're going to think, what's the point? So I think there's balance and there's understanding your body, listening to your body.
I think it's important as well not to be using exercise as like a, how can I explain? Because when I've talked about this on the show before, when I was extremely depressed, I used exercise to kind of make myself feel better. And I did feel that much better, but it's like I was using it as an escape route. Though I got to love it and everything. But I think it's important that if you are going through something, yes, of course you exercise, you make sure you're looking after your health with the, the way you eat and everything. But if there are issues there that have been there for a long time or that you haven't dealt with, you need to get help for that as well. It's not just about the exercise and nutrition and then you still feel miserable inside. It's going to make you feel better for some part of the day or make it for momentarily. But you need to deal with what's inside as well, which is then what I did. I looked for help and I got help for the depression, and then, the exercise was a plus for me after that. But at the time I was using it just to forget my problems or to feel better or to kind of lift the bad mood that I was in. And I was overdoing it, like you said. I was really overdoing it. I was in the gym for a long time, for a couple of hours. Plus, I used to do like 2 classes, one after the other. And it was just, I was in the gym a lot. Any spare time I had in the gym, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, it was ridiculous. Wow. I got really strong and really fit, but at the same time, I was using that as just an outlet for everything I was going through. So make sure if you are going through something that you get help for that too, to look after the inside and not just sort of the body and how you look and how you feel physically speaking. Make sure you know the mental stuff is taken care of as well, because that's, I think it's even more important, because that's going to reflect on the outside as well at the end of the day.
100% agree with that. 100%. Because you know that you are a being of many things. There's lots of things that make you tick, and we're all different. So yeah, not to overdo anything. It's moderation. I mean, back to the diet. I mean, it's all very well eating really healthy all the time, but sometimes you've got to go out and blow the doors off. You know,
thank you for saying that.
You've got to do that, but I think you've got to earn the right. I think if you live an 80-20 lifestyle, where 80% of the time you're right on top of things, then you know over time you've got the control, you've got the know-how, the knowledge, the understanding to become who you want to become. And most people generally would like to feel more energized. Most people generally would like to lose a little bit of weight generally and feel more toned, and it's easy. You just got to want to do it bad enough, I think. You know, I think that's the key. You've got to have desire. Without anything, it's impossible.
And on that note, we're going to end the show because we've finished.
Wow,
we've run out of time. It has gone quickly. Thank you so much, lovely Alison.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much, Steve, as well, for all the advice. And I do hope that's helped our viewers tonight, how to stay healthy and, you know, ward off all those horrible high blood pressure, diabetes, which we didn't get into, but never mind. We spoke about quite a lot, didn't we?
We did.
And now we're going to eat the vegetables when we end the show. All right, so guys at home, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again on Monday. Do have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Bye-bye for now. Today we're at the David French.
David what?
Today we're at. Music just came on. Okay, so what does that include, Joanna? What we're going to do today?
We'll be serving them some tea, cakes, and we're having Frank Sinatra.
Today we're at the Dr. French.
Yes.
Sorry.